I'm CraigO, and join me on my adventures with CraigO's cryptocurrency as we cover the blockchain, Web3, NFT, and cryptocurrency technologies. Interviewing the best in the industry, giving tips and tricks, and also sharing with you projects that I'm most excited about.
The best in Web3, blockchain, NFT, and cryptocurrency technology. Great reviews, incredible interviews with the leading people in the Web3 ethos and just the general things Web3. Joined by my amazing co-host, Mr. Meta Matt. How you doing today?
Good. I'm excited for the show.
I am too. And we're going to welcome everybody from Twitter Spaces, Facebook, and YouTube Live. I was just notified by one of my good buddies in the space. I believe Danny Yang of On-Chain Monkeys, the CEO of On-Chain Monkeys. They're holding a space right now. So don't expect our space to be flooded today. But today's more of a tech day because it was actually supposed to be Kevin DeGod's coming on, but he's going to be coming on February 15th. So really excited about that. And shout out to my good friend Matt Swayze. We'll do one of the things that we'll touch upon is his Matty metrics, the good, the bad, and the fudly on the DeGods and Utes projects.
Yeah, I saw the Twitter the tweet about that. I'm excited to see the full rundown as far as that goes.
I am too. You know, let me face my chair because right normally I'm looking at the camera, looking at somebody that's there. So it's you and me today. But and we will do some screen shares. Don't worry, Tony. You'll be clicking that button quite a bit. Yeah. But do you want to talk about the Daily Ralpha? We always do our 2-minute weekly update Daily Ralpha. This week we were fun enough to say we have 2 Twitter spaces. We had 2 episodes today, one yesterday with Flexter.eth. We'll talk a little bit about that. I think that was a great conversation, very engaged community, a lot of alpha insight. Actually, Flexter.eth, if you guys aren't following me, you should. He gave a lot of really good reasons as to why people are so heavily involved in the ENS Maxi community and that it's an overall reach into the ENS domains. So that was a great conversation yesterday. And we got to see his handsome PFP. So that was cool.
I honestly, I thought it was just interesting talking to him about just the ENS community, but also just the ENS trading of domains. Like it's a whole bunch of alpha that a lot of people are not aware of when it comes to that.
A tremendous amount. And so I do want to talk about Daily Ralph, and in a second, we'll do that screen share. The Dookie Dash all the way. Yuga's game is single-handedly driving NFT volume with the sewer passes. They already have done close to 22,000 Ethereum in volume. Ladies and gentlemen, that's $35 million. Please don't tell me there's not a market. You want to call it a bear. I call that a hustle grind. And someone's thinking about an opportunity. I'm not a big video game person, but when you think about the whole Yuga ecosystem, the Bored Ape, the Mutant, this kind of makes sense. And so with the floor price roughly around 2.75, that means that that's closely about $4,300 to play a game that lasts 3 weeks. Right now, 2 weeks of that game. It'll be interesting to watch and see what passes turn out in the end being worth once the game is done. Pure speculation. I'm going to say, based on this ecosystem, I'm fairly bullish, but I think we will see a retracement. It'll be sell the news event on that, and then people will be able to get back in. But it's not.
There's a lot of hype behind that right now, and it's the Bored Ape Yacht Club community, very big, and community has a lot of money, a lot of money flowing in. So
yeah, and major acquisitions are starting to be commonplace, and I think we will continue to see these mergers and acquisitions announcements this year as it progresses. This is according to Ralph from the Daily Ralpha. This week we saw Doodles acquire Emmy-nominated studio Golden Wolf, and Floor acquire Wagme.io. Ralph likes both of these moves, so super excited. If you guys are not subscribed to the Daily Ralpha, now, Tony, this is where we do the quick screen share, my friend. I'm going to pull that up. Hold on 1 second. There we go. When you're ready. Guys, this is his toolbox, and I'm starting to play around with these tools. One of the things that Meta, Matt, and I are talking about, and then we're going to make an appointment for next week to get together, is to learn some of these tools within Ralph's tool belt and the Daily Ralpha. And so these tools have all been looked over and reviewed by Ralph. And again, move at your own caution. That's just good advice, not financial advice. But start to play around with these things. But at the bottom, go and put your email address right here, right? Daily Ralpha, put it right there. I'm telling you, you'll be happy every morning. I get my daily news. We can come off of that. Big shout out to Ralph Quintero. He's making his rounds at the conference. I think it's Denver. Gosh, I hope I'm right on that. There's a big conference going on right now somewhere in the world. And he's out there having a great time, learning, networking, strategizing, and building his newsletter of over 80,000 subscribers. So
that's impressive.
it is. And he's incredibly humble, and we're incredibly grateful to have him on the show along with you, my amazing co-host. So let's get to it. Today's going to be a little bit about technical, a little bit about fundamental, and how I approach creating content. But one of the things that I'm going to do in just a second is I'm actually going to unhook this computer that I'm on right now. Just moving these around a little bit. We talk about security through obscurity. One of the things that I want to make mention of is I don't have my crypto and NFT wallets. I don't have my wallets hooked up to just any device, and it stays in secure keeping. And I think one of the biggest reasons, again, not millions of dollars, I'm just letting you know, but I don't want to have something on the go where I have a FOMO moment, okay, and I need to get into something and I get in trouble. So if I have a question on a transaction, I don't do the transaction.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. No, if it's even just one red flag at all, just don't do it.
Don't do it.
There'll be another trade. There'll be another day.
Lose the gas money. Don't worry about it. So if you're in projects, believe in them. If you're not, liquidate. There's actually a project that I'm going to liquidate. And today, I'm probably not going to do it on the podcast. I was trying to do it before I come on, because one of the things I don't want to do is sell something and then the group, the founders, see that. And again, it's not any of the big projects that I'm in. But it's a project that still has some value, but I don't believe in it long term because this group is not plugged in. They're not continuing to innovate. So as long as I don't say that group, we're good money. We're good. I just want to always make sure that I don't do something in which someone will see as disparaging or disrespectful. But one of the things that I do want to talk about is AI creation. And one of the things that I've been very big into.
I love AI. The Chat GPT, I use it for basically everything now. I know that, it's like the big talk of the town right now, Chat GPT. You were mentioning actually Doodles getting acquiring the Emmy nominated studio Golden Wolf. I think that's pretty interesting, especially because I saw the Gods basketball team from that Big Three league, and everyone was watching. All the Gods holders were watching, and it was really cool because they ended up winning last second, and then everyone in the chat, it was like a big group live stream, and everyone was just going crazy, drinking out of the drinking champagne out of the shoe and celebrating together. It was really fun to watch. And now, you have Doodle is now acquiring these studios. This is interesting to see big company or big entities getting bought up by these NFTs.
And that's why a play like Doodles, not financial advice, makes a lot of sense to me. I understand why people are getting involved in that. That resonates. It just makes a lot of sense. And thank you, by the way. You were holding me down. I was playing with one computer or another, and then there was reverb going in the background. What I'm doing is getting up my computer. I want to show you guys in real time. I'm going to take you into my Microsoft Word account, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to do a cut and paste on a particular intro. I love my intros. My intros is a way to connect with our guest, like we did with Flexter. If you guys haven't seen that conversation, a lot of alpha around that. Just go to my YouTube channel, subscribe to it, check out that conversation. So much valuable insight was given. And I'm just pulling up my, just skipping that real quick. My computer's just turning on. I should have had this computer turned on in advance. Go back. Hold on 1 second, guys. Skip for now. There we go. All right. So let me just go into, Tony, if you can do a quick screen share, I'm all right in this computer. Totally cool. Thank you. Guys, what I'm doing is I'm going to my Microsoft Word. What I'll usually do for content creation, so content creators, this might be a good thing for you to see, is I'm just looking at a conversation that I had. Let's look at Josh Ung. Let's see if we can get that. Here we go. So this is a conversation. This was my intro for Josh. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to do just one paragraph, right? And then I'm going to go to my browser, and I am going to, bear with me. Let me just pull this up. Come right out here. So guys, anybody that's tuning in on Twitter Spaces, what I did is I went to my Microsoft Word, and I'm just doing a little cut and paste. And then in the Chrome browser is where Chat GPT lies. I put that on there, and I played around with it a little bit. For me, it's mostly content writing construction, because the written word and spoken word are vastly different. So you always want to be aware of that. So then I'm going to click onto here. Once I click onto here, it's going to come up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this paragraph. All right. Boom. Let's see what it comes up with. Okay. So we're going to look at these side to side, and then you can stop generating, but you can always regenerate new information. What's up, Matt? Oh, you weren't saying anything. Okay. So as you can see, it is also known as, so here we go, Maui Prime, BA number 1037, also known as Josh, is a respected figure in the industry. He has been involved in the space since 2010 and is well advised in both Web 3 and Web 2 identities. He has experience in technology, writing, and advising through his boardroom ventures. Now, if you look at mine at the top, you'll see one of the most trusted OGs in the game. So what they did is they made certain switches around the wording. And if you don't like that, you can then regenerate a response. So this is how I've been playing around with it. What are your thoughts on that, Matt?
Well, what I do is after I generate the response, I see what it has, and then maybe I want to add like a comedic touch. I'm like, can you do the same thing but add a little bit of comedy, or can you do the same thing and gear it towards a audience between 20 and 30? Like it's very smart. The way, I mean, it's literally talking to Google basically, and
by the way, it doesn't operate on the same frame as Google. It does not pull any information. It has its own database of information. And I was hearing a conversation from Elon Musk last night, and when it was reported that his net worth is dropped and he's not the wealthiest person in the world, and he goes, "Hey, I just want to let you know, however you feel about him." But what he did say is, he said, "I'm putting this money into AI, like things that you see with Chat GPT." And when you look at how it's responding, so I would just write, what is a digital asset? Let's see what it says. I haven't even tried this yet. A digital asset is a file or collection of files that are stored electronically and can be used for various purposes, such as multimedia content, financial transactions, and representation of a physical asset, digiphysical, as we say, digiphysical. Examples of a digital asset include images, video, audio, files, documents, and cryptocurrency.
And see, what I would do there is then I would ask, can you also add a real life example from, I guess the Web 2 space, or a real life term? Because I know a lot of people, like if I'm doing education content, a lot of people like to have those examples, relatable examples. So, it's really cool that now you can get these, like in a second, instead of having to do the research, you can see basically just like asking Google, and it gives you the perfect response. And then you can have it kind of like customize your response.
Sure. A digital asset can be a digital photo taken by a professional photographer, which can be licensed and used by a company for commercial purposes, such as an advertisement or a website. Another example could be digital music file, which can be sold or streamed online by an artist or a music label. Another example is a token or a coin in a blockchain technology that represents a value or an asset like a stock or gold. It's really cool, all the things that you can do when you start to explain or start to explore. So for you and I, when we get together next week and we're thinking about content, and this is kind of fun for the studio to know, we're going to continue to do interviews and conversations. I call them conversations. We want to build those relationships. But each month I'm probably thinking March forward. It's going to be 2 great conversations with 2 leading people in the Web3 ethos. And then I want to start to dive into some of the technical stuff, because I want to take away a level of intimidation in this space. And I want people to understand that it's easier than you think, but the nuances are what go, I don't have time for this. And I get that. So tonight, I'm actually going to reach out to one of my friends who's very technical. And I'm going to say, hey, I hooked into this particular program to make sure that I'm not selling off things. And I didn't click a button because I didn't like what the message was saying. Do you have some time? Can I download this app? Can you watch in real time with me? And at that point, we're going to be able to see if this makes sense, because what you don't want is your wallet to interact with things that could be dangerous. So really, I only interact with OpenSea. And I had this conversation with a friend of mine, and then we're going to go on to the next topic. And I was of the mindset, which is a really silly mindset, because your Twitter page can get hacked. I said, oh yeah, to my friend, I said, all I do is I go through the Twitter space, I go through Twitter, and then into OpenSea, I just literally go in there, and then I click onto that link. What are we seeing here?
I'm looking at the comments here. Mogo, yes. That's actually really funny. They're asking, do you say thanks to GPT after you use it? I'm not gonna lie. At first, when I started using it, I was like, just in case this thing ends up taking over the world, I do say thank you sometimes at the end. I want to be on the good side of this AI. You never know what could happen.
The ideas of AI, I don't know if everybody thinks of that movie Terminator. I don't want to get off too off of topic, but I think about the sort of the parallel is, we don't want the we're programming the AI, or people that are smarter than me and you are actually doing that, which is really great. And they're aggregating all this incredible information. But I do want to come back to security protocol. And I do believe in security through obscurity. I believe in Josh Ung saying that, and it's such a great saying. But one of the things that I said to my friend, and I was completely wrong. I want to say it right here, right now. And I just was like, as soon as he said, Craig, no way. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. And that's why I'll never come on and give advice that doesn't align or connect with the biggest safety in mind for you guys. And that was, if you're going to go, you can go onto a Twitter page and it can be a verified account. That account could still possibly get hacked. And then you could, so if I went onto OpenSea's Twitter account, and then through there, I clicked onto that page, I would think, oh yeah, I'm good. No, what you want to do is type in, and then you want to bookmark that on your personal PC, as long as it doesn't get hacked. If it gets hacked, and they, then they could possibly manipulate it. But that to me seems like the safest route. And my first suggestion, as soon as he said, Craig, what are you thinking? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I wasn't thinking. That's why I'm talking offline with you. And I said, I'm going to share this story today. And he was absolutely 100% right. And so my main wallet, I really don't like to connect or interact with anything other than the OpenSea that I now bookmark. Wink, wink. So let's get on to some other things. But again, bookmarking is incredibly important. And let's talk about our next running topic. I'm just pulling up the file right now just to get off of that. There we go. So again, a lot of good things going around that. Okay, so art continues to pump and drive the market volume. I'm still bullish, especially around creative mint evolution dynamics, such as burn tactics, merging and blending the phys digital. But this, I want to talk about the burn tactic, and I want to talk about probably one of the best. And I'm going to actually unplug this because that's on the other computer. Actually, no, you know what I can do? I can cut and paste that link. Don't worry about it, Renee. I know. I'm like driving everybody nuts here today. All right, here we go. I'm going to be pulling this up in just a second. I'll let you know as soon as I have it, Tony. Okay, I've got it. Here we go. So pull up that screen share. So this is a big OG in the space. He is the ultimate meme artist, Chris. I would highly recommend that you go and check out what's going on. But right now, there is this nylon blue sky map. And so it was this was minted on Mintify. And through that, what's really cool about what's going on here is that you were able to mint for 0.007 the cat with the red balloon. And then the mint mechanics around this work as the orange balloon had a high supply. The yellow balloon had potentially a less supply. The green balloon. However, as the days go in concession, and this, by the way, big shout out to my good buddy, Stephen Miller. He's going to be coming on the 8th of February. He turned me on to this. And he says, dude, get in. This is going to be great. So I got 2 of these red balloons. I now have a orange balloon, and I now have a green balloon. Then tomorrow it will be today it will be a blue balloon and a purple balloon. And then the last day, it's the question mark balloon. Interesting enough, though, I don't think the purple and the last day balloon are going to be the winners. And this is maybe, we're going to see how this ages, but I'm thinking with this, it's sort of an in-game play. So once you're comfortable enough, and by the way, I use my minting wallet to purchase them, and then obviously to burn. So that then there's a secondary platform. I believe it was on Mintify. Don't quote me on that. But then if you follow this thread each day, it will let you know what balloon is coming up. He's got great engagement, but he is one of the top 5 all-time meme artists. And when I think about the year of art and culture and the things that are going to make people bullish in 2023, I'm really excited about this. And one of the projects that I purchased for $800, I'm going to share some fiat. I'm actually going to liquidate that, use that for next year's tax harvesting, and get in more on these because I believe in these. The more you learn, the more you know, the more you grow. So this is a really great individual in this space. Matt, what's your take on this?
Well, that last part that you just mentioned, liquidating I think you said you bought it for 800. Now you're liquidating. That's important, honestly. A lot of people, they hodl. They have these NFTs with these communities that they get attached to, and they don't liquidate. And then they just sit in their wallet, and then they're pulling money out of their savings account, using money that they shouldn't be using for trading, instead of liquidating and then using that money to make another trade, to make money elsewhere.
And I think that's a very big point that you just brought up. I think that's one of the things that people need to be aware of. I would like to have a PB alert update. Tell me what's going on. And more importantly, for people that are tuning in, what is PB alerts and why is it so important for people to know about this incredible group?
Yeah, I mean, we are it's a stock and crypto community. That is the first thing, is a community. You know, a lot of people are in the markets. There's a lot of money to be made, a lot of money to also be lost. So we kind of provide that cushion for the new trader to to just talk with other traders and get alerts. We do education as well. We have over 50 free classes in our Discord, in the free trading Discord. And right now, we do live trading Tuesday through Thursday, 9:15 a.m. Eastern on our YouTube. And we had a really good turnout. We're also looking at, I just want to bring up a quick stock, GLDG. Once again, that's GLDG. An analyst tracked this company for years. Just give it a price target of 625. That's a 500% upside. So that's what we're looking at right now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so we talked about Flexter the other day.
Yeah, that was a great talk.
it was such a great conversation. I think it was extremely important and it was needed. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about right now is you have sizzle and you have stake. And I want to make it very simple. So the sizzle for me is sort of what people are building upon. The stake is the deliverable of an actual product or a service. That sort of is how I delineate that. And then obviously access and membership. And we'll talk about sort of the 5 hot trends. I did pull up that page and I want to dive in on that. But I feel like the ENS Maxi community is doing an incredible job of that. The ENS domains, how they're intertwined and interconnected. But we'll also talk about my next purchases and why. And so again, the Nyan balloon. There we go. I'm gonna be getting into those, and I'm probably gonna have about 3 to 4 of those balloons by the time it's done because you purchase the red balloons in package. And I like OpenSea. I feel like when I think about the safest type of purchase, it's secondary market. It's buying, it's getting those wet offers. It's being able to then get in and then transfer that money, no matter of gas fee, transfer that money to your hot minting wallet. When you're going to go onto other platforms outside of OpenSea. There's Blur. I get it. I'm just sticking as simple as possible. So Flexter did a great alpha report. So I'd highly recommend that people go and subscribe. If we just do a quick screen share, possible. Tony, thank you, sir. But he did read the amazing alpha report. I haven't dived into it because he put it out this morning, but a lot of great content and information in this, and give him a little heart. But that to me is really important when they put things together. The founders have been following the content as we're growing and building the channel. So that's sort of, to me, is one of the most important things to share. The other thing, and maybe I'll do that in a little bit, but when I want to talk about sort of my degen plays, I feel like more ENS Maxis, if they stay at this current price and don't get too far to reach, I might grab some more. Right now, I actually have 7 of those bad boys in my wallet. I also have 22 Rotten Antisocial Clubs in my wallet. 3 have Rarity Trait, which is really great. I have 2 on-chain monkeys and 2 karmas, and I have 1 pop. And my monkeys, an on-chain monkey, which we'll do in a second, they're running their missions. So those are 3 communities that I'm really, really excited about. But I'm also excited about the unknown artist or the mint mechanic play, the burn, what Chris is doing from Nyan Balloon. It's absolutely phenomenal. I'm super excited that Steve turned me on to that. When we had yesterday's conversation with Flexter, it's amazing how deep you dive into the storyline. I mean, they had a comic book. They played with the metadata. So just because you have a 10,000 collection of unique traits and rarity doesn't mean that you won't have something special a year or 2 years out from now as the storyline develops. So they sent the astronauts into space with the helmet. So if you were lucky enough to get that and you were granted the rocket ship ticket, you were then able to apply that, I guess, onto a platform and then have a new helmet. And then they sent 200 people out into space, but only 100 or 50 had spacesuits. So now you have a certain number of these ENS Maxis that when they were created, didn't have a helmet, didn't have a spacesuit. So there's a rarity there. And then we talked about his alpha. By the way, anybody who's listening in, and the few that are right now today, because there's a lot of spaces going on, I'm important, but listen, there are people that are more important than us at the moment. That's totally cool. But the alpha from Flex was the ape. And the reason being is when it turns on for the Bored Ape Yacht community and they realize how amazing the ENS Maxi community is, guess what they're going to be doing?
No, I mean that's a good point because a lot of projects, they're just apes or it's just dolphins or just bears or whatever. Like this project, the Maxis, it's a bunch of different types of art,
Pandas.
like pandas, yeah, and one of them being is apes, and he's right. Like he's like, I'm buying up all the apes because once the Bored Ape Yacht Club community does get wind of this, like it's interesting, like the kind of alpha behind these ENS Maxis, the domains, like the 3 letters versus the having 4, and this is all the different types of trends. It's
Yeah.
like trading a whole different market.
I wonder what that feeling is like, and I don't have that, right? Because I don't have a Bored Ape. But I wonder what that feeling is. You're looking at potential 100 ETH of liquidity if you decided to sell it. What's the tax implication? Talk to your accountant, right? Because that's important. But then the second is then reinvesting and diversifying further into the ecosystem. I wonder if that's kind of like, listen, there's probably a lot of Bored Ape holders that were lucky enough to get in at the beginning, maybe didn't have the skill set or didn't FOMO or scare, or scared of selling out. But by the way, when the ape token came out, if you held a Bored Ape and you got the token, you got $100,000 for minting an ape that was 0.07.
It's like $250 or something.
I mean,
like that in April of a couple of years ago.
talk about a return on investment. All right, so we talked about that. Then right now I'm eyeing a Karma 2, a K2, or I'm eyeing, and I'm saying this is the on-chain community, or I'm eyeing getting a donut, or maybe getting another Genesis. And I actually had this conversation with Stephen Miller. So you have the virgin Genesis monkeys, and then you have the non-virgin Genesis monkeys. And that's because the ones that ate a dessert, whether it was a pop, D1 pop, a D2 donut, or the celestial cake, which is a D3, nobody was eating those. I think those have been sold, but maybe there might be a D3 Karma, and I'm not aware of it. I'm sure they're out there. This is a 30,000 collection, and the community is so plugged in and so involved. Big shout out to On-Chain Monkeys, Stephen Miller, NFT Bark. A lot of respect for them in the space. They host some great spaces. They're both super knowledgeable individuals. In a second, I'll pull up the screen share so that you guys can follow them. They do some incredible spaces. But just a lot of really good and intelligent people. It was funny. I walked into a spaces the other night, and this is something for you guys to know. Whenever you go into a Twitter spaces, very simple advice: pen and pad, take notes, and if you go out on stage, just make some notes of what you want to talk about, and get past the, hey guys, how are you doing? I do this. Hey, how are you doing? Okay, they called you up to stage. All right, let me get to it. Here's my thoughts. Get to the point and take more information than you put out. If you do that long enough, eventually you become the person that's giving out the information. You're the one that are building those contacts and resources. And that's what we've done in a short amount of time on our podcast, because we started in April. So that was my thought as I'm trying to figure out my next DGen play. So the low mints, I can do liquidity. Upon more income, I'm probably going to grab another Genesis is my feeling. And to run these monkeys on missions, which we'll show into the computer in a little bit, I think is a really cool thing that can be done. I want to actually pull up our next talking point.
Well, really quick,
Yes,
while we're talking about NFTs, the one that I like a lot, the one that I'm also looking to buy more of, is Crypto Mori's NFT. And this is a project that actually is granting mental health care to their holders via Impact Suite. So you have this NFT, you or a family member can get free mental health care for life. That's utility to me. And this Crypto Mori is it's like 180 floor price. Definitely worth looking at.
$180 floor price.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and how's their trading? Ethereum, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I see that. I see that on your phone.
That's actually on my screen.
Pull it up real quick. It's over there.
All over there
because of the Twitter. Yeah, but
Twitter Spaces. Yeah.
Before we're done, we'll actually pull that up. I think mental health is important, especially in an age of so much technology. I actually at night have to put my phone away on purpose, and I feel that feeling of grabbing out. Hey, never got to drugs or alcohol. There was never issue. Maybe anxiety and depression. I dealt with that throughout the years. I'm very honest with my audience, our audience. But to know that that's there is really important. That is an ultimate utility. Your well-being, your health and wellness is well more than money that you have.
And your family. I know you have kids. They were taught, there's one of the programs they have there is just trying to live in an age, having kids in technology. And so different strategies to use as far as that goes.
Yeah. All right. Quick screen share. I want to talk about this next topic, which is 5 unique NFT use cases that will dominate 2023. So ticketing and proof of attendance. So if you own a digital asset, i.e. NFT, you now will have the ability, and you still have had it the whole time, that if you're going up to an event, you can either show proof of attendance that you've been there. That would actually be in the form of a POAP, which is proof of attendance protocol. But there's so many great things that you can do. Membership access, passes. Soulbound tokens was an interesting one. And then I will actually explain that after. Artificial intelligence, and then physical x digital, digital as we call it. So if you hold a digital asset, you then have access to the physical, and or you can burn that to gain the physical. So really cool what people are doing to back up or have a store of value. When you think about like gold was once pegged to the US dollar. I don't know what's pegged to the US dollar, quite frankly, but hey, something is. What is pegged to the US dollar? That's,
Tether. there are some stable coins out there. I don't think it's even Tether actually.
That's funny. We can come off of that screen share. So I just want to let people know what a soulbound token is. And I just look for a couple different definitions. Soulbound tokens, and this is really important, are non-transferable tokens that represent a person's identity used on the blockchain technology. Could be medical files, insurance information, possibly one day. I was going to say a house deed, but a house deed is transferable. Anything that a license, any identification that says it's you, that would be a representation of a soulbound token. So it's created in the means that it identifies you. It doesn't have it has intrinsic value, but not a financial value.
It's like a digital birth certificate, kind of like NFT birth certificate.
Yeah, think of it as like the blue check mark on Twitter Spaces.
Right.
Around the blue check mark on Twitter Spaces, just really quick, your take on it. I think it's cool, but at the end of the day, I'm starting to see more and more blue check marks. At one point last year, that was like, oh, that's a verified account. Now I think it's something you should do at $8 a month.
Yeah.
I think it's important. I want Twitter to succeed. It's not whether I like someone or don't. But I think where Twitter is going and how important it is to overall blockchain-based technology and Web3 building and development, I feel like that's really good. I also have to force myself sometimes to go on to Discord. I understand why that's where some of the conversations happen and a lot of the DGen chats, but it's way too busy for me. Way too busy. What are your thoughts around that?
Well, I have the blue check mark. I just, like you said, like especially as a someone who does content, I think it's almost necessary for just being able to post longer videos is honestly the biggest thing for me. And because I do a lot of educational content that might be over a minute or 2 minutes. So honestly, that alone is worth the $8. I think that having the blue check mark doesn't really matter anymore, though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So one of the things that I do want to talk about, but before we have a couple people in Twitter Spaces today.
Yeah, cool. we got a few.
Cool. I'll take a few. A few, and thanks for the people that are tuning in on YouTube. Got a few there too. It's all good. And listen, this is where some of the best spaces, by the way, is when people aren't clogged into the spaces, because then there's pandemonium. You're keeping up with the conversation. Yesterday, when we had Flextron, we had over 70 people in the Twitter Spaces and 133 at one point that tuned in at various points throughout. But listen, we're grateful for that. I do want to do a quick screen share, and I want to give a big shout out to Matt Swayze. He did a good, bad, and fudly on the DGods project. I want to actually read it, go through this pinned thread, which I thought was really important, and then we can just kind of dive into what our after take is on that. Sound fair?
Yeah.
Cool, man. Let's do it. So, of course, he goes into thanking me. You're always welcome, my friend. So they're going to be going over from Solana, both projects, both Utes and also DGods are going to be going over to DGods is going to go over to Ethereum, and Utes is going to be going over to Polygon Matic. And so let's read him what his quick take was. The good: cannot understate the sentiment and community support, able to overcome network issues that damage other projects and chains. The bad: risk of losing a core community that made DGods what it is today, presence of broken links, and low trust score on the main website. So here are my thoughts. They have to come over to a platform that they feel that they're going to have more ability to scale on. And they still have a decent relationship in Solana. They're actually going to be leaving their tubes on Solana. So maybe with the option to come over. I think that's what I heard from Kevin DeGods the other day. But I look at the bad as a good. And I'll tell you what, the Fudly migration will be a sell the news event. Unless a correction occurs early, outcome will determine overall short-term sentiment. So I look at it as if it is a sell the news event. So when you think about a DGOD, I think it's around 500 Solana, and that's multiplied by in fiat. Multiply that by $24, and you got quite a bit of money that you're going to be buying in for. And my thought on it is his optimal entry point is 250 Solana. If it can drop by half, I think you're going to see a couple things. First off, unique wallet holders. How many people in that collection? And I don't know that I have that. I will take a look to see if he did that down there. I asked him if he could give me a little bit of I just don't go on a Magic Eden. That's not, again, I stay to OpenSea on Ethereum. I play a little bit on Multiverse X, and I'll go to XONO Trust Market just to do transactions when I'm going to be doing anything on Multiverse X, but really focused on OpenSea. And I trust mostly their analytics. But if you're going to go deeper dive, if you really want to get complicated on things, and sometimes we'll bring that information onto the podcast, you go into Dune Analytics and they pull up a lot of really good information insight. But I look at this as it's a strong ecosystem. They have, I want to say that they're battle cries, but one of the fun things that there will be a surprise at the podcast when Kevin comes on. But people like to pop the champagne bottle, pour the champagne into the shoe and drink it and film themselves doing it. I think it's absolutely awesome. And I think you have a balance of age group between Kevin, and Kevin's more my age. And then you have Frank. I think that balance works so perfectly that before I actually knew who Kevin was, again, just from the outside, I would hear Frank and I'm like, oh, this is that young go-getter. And, start to form an opinion. I actually drink my own champagne on that. And I say, I've watched enough people do it now that if there's like with On-Chain Monkey, our battle cry is I rise, respect, integrity, sustainability, experimentation. I mean, that's pretty powerful, right? So everybody has a different type of, I'll say battle cry, but like, you're with me, bro? Yeah, I got that tattoo. You got that tattoo. So there's sort of a commonality theme. And so I understand why people partake in it more now. And I also, Frank, mentioned at the beginning of the year, according to you, that he's maturing up a little bit. And I think that's sort of where his relationship with Kevin. So now coming back to that, right? Because the pinnacle for me, or one of my ultimate metrics, MetaMatt, is how do the founders connect with their community? Do they show up? Do they grow up? Do they listen? Do they learn? Do they engage? Do they share? And Kevin and Frank do all of those things. So I'm very bullish that even if we see a retracement, it's a great thing, because what you're going to find is that people who are involved into the ecosystem for so long are going to be coming back in. Not financial advice, but a project to look out for if you have your Phantom wallet and you know how to get the on-ramp. And by the way, there are YouTube videos out there that do some technical stuff. So some of the technical things that we're going to do is we're going to take the mystery. If there's a causation in us doing and sharing that, it's not just to show you, oh, this is step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3. What it's showing you is it's not that scary. But I want to make sure that we have our stuff together before I start playing on the wallets and showing in real time. I want to make sure that we've got it. And I also don't want to sell something of a project founder and then the project founder go, that's really disrespectful. You did it on the podcast. And I'm not here for that. I'm not here to create that type of noise, at least for me.
I'll do it.
I love this guy.
I'm all about being trans. Not that you're not being transparent. I don't like if a founder wants to have problems with me liquidating their project, that's on them. But do better. I don't know.
Well, I'll liquidate. They'll see it if they look and they want to know who's selling
it's on the blockchain anyway.
No, absolutely. But I don't want to just be like, here you go. I just sold your garbage. All right. So he goes, it's important to note that this is a fresh perspective from someone outside of the Solana ecosystem, meaning from Matt. Only 6% of holders own 6% or more, with 44% unique holders. I think the migration to Ethereum can push up 50%. This could be a goal. For reference, Bored Ape Yacht is at 61%. And that's powerful. That makes more sense as to why they're doing this, is because they're not going to be the hottest kid on the block anymore. Welcome to the mean streets of Ethereum and Polygon. And I think they're ready for it. And I think that's really exciting.
I remember Kevin said on a podcast I was watching of his, he was like, before, we were the top dog in Solana, but now they wanted to move to Ethereum so that they could be the best in the, quote unquote, best, ecosystem. I
wonder what they're going to be ranked. They're not moved over just yet. And it looks like the move over process is going to be very easy. There's a burn mechanic, I guess, to hook to their website. And that's what I like. Really good projects have very strong websites. They're very directional and intentional. And at the end, I'm going to share the On-Chain Monkey platform, because that's really where I plug in. Just too many websites, too much information. And when you're content creating like I am, we're having in-depth conversations. There's only but so much focus that I can give. I wish I were what it's called, a Mensa, like where you're just brilliant, where you take that pill and it's brilliance all day long. I have a certain point of it. And then after that, I just completely shut off and go blank. After network outages, security breaches, grants, and other factors, a migration does make a lot of sense for DGods and Utes. Grant for going to OX Polygon. So going to Polygon. So I love it. There's a lot to unpack surrounding the short versus long-term effects of this move.
Well, with Polygon, and they have a lot of connections to some big companies, whereas Solana doesn't have those like those big companies in their ecosystem. I think that's another big reason why they want to make the move, not just to Ethereum, but also to Polygon, is the connections that they can have.
I 100% agree with you. And by the way, Maddie's metrics, if there's an update before Kevin comes on the 15th of the month in a day, we say a month in a day, we say that a day in Web3 is a year in the real world with how fast things move. So 15 days, that's a lot. So at some point we might have him come back and update anything. So how does this community really feel? How does this affect Solana? Or will ETH bring buying pressure or wait for the dump? Will the community be split and unable to rise to similar power again? And what will be the timing of each? All right, so I certainly don't have the answers according to Matt Swayze of the Good, Bad, and Fudly, Maddie's Metrics. There we go. But this is what he was watching. Number 5 was a chart on Magic Eating for the technical analysis before the correction. So I think that was a really good insight play. He did not with the migration. Okay, and dust is not an investment. It has no economic value, but it is accepted currency in the marketplace and e-commerce store. Dust actually is what powered and created DeGods and the Utes project. It's sort of the foundation when we think about MetaGood created on-chain Monkey. So there's the technology that creates the collections, and then you have your founders, creators. So sort of this overall arching ecosystem that we have going on. So that was number 7. Let me put a little heart button on that so he knows that I'm reading him. The roadmap. Where's Waldo? I'd love to see some growth come from these migrations. Waiting for someone to pave the way for a maturing NFT space. Positioning to be taken more seriously IRL. Expect to see some from this Utes through, and the DeGods don't change what makes you great. So I think it's really cool how both collections are simultaneously operating. We'll find different points of value, different resistance levels. I have a feeling, just calling it out in just a second, actually, I'm going to go to nine in a second, but I have a feeling that Utes will be more powerful off the gate from the get-go because of low transaction fees, speed of transaction network. But then again, more people are operating, I believe, on the Ethereum blockchain than are Solana. However, big corporations and companies are building on Solana and scaling up on Solana. And for those that don't know, Solana 2 is layer 2 over the Ethereum blockchain, where the gas fees and speed of transactions are much faster. I think there's a couple things, around MetaMask that I'd like to see in way of speed and efficiency connecting to different platforms. And also maybe one day they'll integrate a better security platform where people don't lose their stuff. Frank and Kevin are a well-balanced team. I can't agree more with that sentiment. I am excited. He is excited to see what the future holds and is supportive in that decision. Wouldn't mind seeing some good FUD to make an easier entry point and increasing unique holders. I can't disagree with him, because if it goes under 250 or 250, yeah, I'm going to figure something out.
I mean, I know on the chart I saw, it had a pretty big dip on that chart that you pulled up earlier, and it did recover pretty nicely, though. Like it looks like
right here,
yeah, right there, yeah. If
screen
you look
share,
at
Tony.
If you look at the chart there, it had like that first initial dip, and the second one, that third one did go below the trend line. If you want to, I don't know, I know NFTs aren't as they're more emotional traded than they are, and then stocks are, but it did break below the trend line there.
Yep.
And so that, but then it recovered, and that does say something about the strength of the community.
I love
the buyers.
I love it. And then we're just going to finish up these last ones. Bottom line, I respect the Solana community, not the network. That's his opinion. I'm not fudding Solana. I think Solana will be just fine. That's my personal opinion. And but again, the good, the bad, and the fudly. Maddie's metrics, and feel bad for their losses. Migration should be a positive result and will result in the win growth and for the growth for Dust Labs. The gods may be headed to Ethereum, but they aren't going anywhere. Meaning that they're going to be around for a while, right? So the migration of Solana is going to be very interesting to see. People writing good review, well done. Big shout out to Matt Swayze from Matty's Metrics, the good, the bad, the fudly. Also 1/3 the owner of X1st on the multiverse blockchain. For people that are listening in that are Web 2 heads, they're like, what did you just say? I get it. That's why you got to continue to tune in, DM us, put questions in the comments section, because this is important. And there are a lot of tutorial videos. As I said, you and I in the coming months will be doing videos on taking the intimidation out of the technical part of getting in, minting projects, safety protocols. So I will open that up. I do believe in security through obscurity with Josh Ung. Big shout out to Flexter.eth. We had such a great conversation. And I guess just in finishing up, I'm going to let you hit me with some rapid fire questions, and then 5 more minutes. We're right now at 45. So I do want to wrap it up. We're going to actually do 2 minutes. Give me the rapid fire.
All right. What is your favorite? Because I know you like to talk about a lot of, on-chain monkeys, the trash one as well. What's your favorite NFT that you own?
It really is.
Putting you on the spot there, because I know you got a lot of communities that you like.
It's a tie. It's a tie between those 3. I would say first is On-Chain Monkey, and then I would say it's the tie between ENS Maxi and Rotten Antisocial Club, and I would say it's because of the cohesiveness of those 3 communities. By the way, a lot of those, any On-Chain Monkey, more than likely, not any, but a lot of them have Rask in their wallet, have ENS Maxis, and have domains. So it's a very small ecosystem in that way, and we want to support the growth of all 3 of those collections. And then there are other collections that at some point, like I said, Niam Balloon, those ultimate juicy degen plays that don't break the bank, but are a lot of fun, that could have tremendous upward value late in the year, I think would be really cool. And what a great story to share on the podcast.
All right. So I know we're talking about the champagne and drinking out of a shoe. What is your drink of choice when you go out and have a drink?
I don't know, a beer or a glass of red wine. Malbec, maybe.
Malbec, okay.
Malbec.
Argent. All right.
Yeah.
When it comes to real estate, because I know, the real estate market, there's a lot of people out there flipping, houses. Do you see a correlation in the real estate market as far as the mentality goes in the trading psychology? If that would make sense?
And I think I heard from Pio. Big shout out to Nifty Porthole and them over there. He said something that was really profound on a Twitter Spaces where he was with Chris from Brick by Brick. I'm forgetting his Twitter name, but he said something. There's 15,000 people circulating in this space currently. So niche in the content, and when they do their content, 15 minutes of every Twitter Spaces that they do, or 25, I forget what it was, they're actually going to talk about things that are non-Web3, right? Because Web 2 or the everyday world, we want to bring them in. And if you don't create an open gate or an on-ramp, sort of like when Porsche had to go back to the drawing board and they blipped on bad news. I mean, talk about that. You want to have an on-ramp to bring people in to say, hey, you think this thing is crazy over here? You think this is a scam? Come on in. Let's show you what we're doing. Let me show you why there's value. Let's show you what a soulbound token is. Let me show you the 5 use cases for NFTs in 2023, why it has such significance in meeting. Why is Ralph traveling for Daily Ralph? Why does he believe in this? Why does he have an audience of 80,000 people? Why are you from Web 2 when you do, Penny Boys alerts? Why are you coming on as a co-host? Why? Because there's such an interest in this Web 3 space and this technology that is emerging, just like ChatGPT. Hot trend.
That's actually, that's my last question. I was going to bring the ChatGPT back up. I know everyone's talking about AI and the impact on jobs. People are talking about, in the future, a lot of these AIs are going to take over a lot of jobs. People there's truck drivers now that are worried because Tesla is working on, these automated trucks. And,
right.
So people are talking about different jobs that might be safe, like nurses, for instance, personal touch. Open AI Premium, because I know a lot of people use I use ChatGPT all the time for work. The $42 price point, is that something that you can see yourself getting with the OpenAI ChatGPT Premium?
I don't need it for right now, but I think it's cool to have friends that do. So at least if there's something that I can experience, so that will be part of our meeting, because I do want to bring more value. Again, we just showed in real time today how ChatGPT works for content creating, writing, how you can call it reroll, right? It's a Web3 term, how you can then fix it up and do what you want. We talked about some of the plays. We talked about some of the hottest communities and why. I do want to just really quick, I just want to show On-Chain Monkey's website. I'm not going to hook up my, I don't think it'll hook up my thing. It can, but basically in this website has, if you can do Tony, real quick screen share. So when you get involved, oh, that's interesting. Oh, hold on one second, guys. There you go. So when you start going in and you are able to connect your wallet, you're actually able to go in and see your wallet, your monkey's running missions. You're collecting these pieces, which are going to be these bots that are going to put together for another part of the mission. They also have a very world-renowned famous artist who did I believe it was part of the Squiggles collection. I hope that I have that right. He's coming in this year and is going to be doing some cool stuff within the on-chain monkey community. So this is why I'm really excited. It's all about building. It's all about your head down focus, learning, growing, strategizing, and then the opportunity to make money will eventually be there. So that's pretty much what I have from my end. I loved your rapid fire questions. I thought they were really important. Good to know that my friend here has the premium stuff. I'm like, hey, bro, what are you doing on there?
Oh, I don't have the premium.
Oh, you don't?
$42. No.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Someone has the premium. If anybody has the premium, I want to know. I'm coming for you. But we got to talk about what the premium will include, and maybe at some point later in the year, maybe I'll do that. But for right now, the free version is good enough.
Yeah, I have a blog post about it. If anyone's on Twitter, that you can check out the whole, like, what the Microsoft acquisition is looking like, and the premium ChatGPT.
I love the rapid fire questions. I love the penny boy alerts. And everybody, thank you so much for tuning into CraigO's Crypto Corner. Thank you so much for watching CraigO's Crypto Corner, the best in Web3, blockchain, NFT, and cryptocurrency technologies. CraigO signing off.